Nothing is more beautiful than living a simple life in this complex universe. Mehmet Murat İldan. A cool breeze blows through the weary soul, tired from the hustle and bustle. A poetic painting of the harmonious contrast between the vast chaos of the universe and the small tranquility in human life. The universe out there is like a deep ocean, with waves of ambition, pressure, speed, and constant change, while a simple life is like a small wooden boat drifting peacefully, not racing against storms, just quietly following the current, enjoying the sunshine and the breeze. Simplicity here is not poverty or lack, but refinement. Letting go of unnecessary burdens to keep the essentials that nourish the soul. A warm meal, a quiet afternoon, a sincere smile, or a moment to live fully as oneself. In a world where people are often swept into the whirlpool of comparison, competition, and accumulation, choosing to live simply is like planting a small garden in the midst of a barren desert, where each flower of peace becomes infinitely more precious and vibrant. As the universe grows more complex, people need to return to primal values to keep their minds from getting lost, like a sky full of stars that overwhelms us. But it's the gentle moonlight that soothes the heart. Simplicity brings a sense of peace that all luxuries sometimes cannot buy. Through this poetic image of contrast, the message emerges clearly. Happiness lies not in possessing much, but in cherishing deeply. When we learn to live slowly, sufficiently, and authentically, we will realize the beauty of life is not noisy or ostentatious, but quietly shining like a small candle in the dark. Humble, yet warm and enduring. It is in that simplicity that people find inner freedom, a gentle and lasting joy, so that amid the vast and complex universe, we can still smile calmly, grateful for every moment of life. Having a simple, tidy home is a form of self-care. Scheib. People return to their living space, the clearest reflection of each person's inner state. A home is not just a shelter from rain and sun, but like a warm spiritual nest where we shed fatigue after a long day, where the soul rests and recovers. When everything is neatly arranged, each small corner airy like a deep breath in the room, the mind also becomes lighter, less cluttered like a lake after a strong wind. Simplicity in living space is not cold emptiness, but refined selection, keeping only the truly necessary and meaningful items so each object has its own place, just as each thought in the mind is put in the right position. A tidy home is like a soothing melody without the discordant notes of clutter and pressure, leaving only the slow rhythm of peace spreading. When we wipe the dining table clean, fold clothes neatly, open windows to welcome sunlight, it's not merely physical cleaning, but gently caring for ourselves, soothing the invisible stresses accumulated in the mind. A bright and minimalist space helps people focus easier, breathe easier, smile easier, as if every corner of the house is quietly adding positive energy. Loving oneself is not just in grand things, like vacations or luxurious rewards, but starts from small yet persistent actions, creating a healthy and comfortable living environment for oneself. When the home becomes simple and tidy, the soul also learns to let go of unnecessary burdens, making room for pure peace and joy, turning each passing day into a lighter and more worthwhile journey. Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. Albert Einstein. A door opens to the invisible world where all possibilities begin to form. Imagination is like the wide screen of the soul, where we project dreams, aspirations, and visions that don't yet exist in reality, but carry the power to shape the future. Before a house is built, it exists in the blueprint. Before a journey begins, it lives vividly in thought. And before a person changes their life, they have seen a better version of themselves in their mind. That preview is not idle fantasy, but the seed of creativity and action like dawn signaling a new day, even though the sun hasn't risen above the horizon. When people nurture positive imagination, the mind becomes open and flexible, daring to dream big and finding ways to make them real. It is in those moments of letting the soul soar that inventions are born, new paths are opened, and old limits are broken. The future doesn't appear randomly, but is conceived in thought long before, like a sprout growing silently underground before reaching for the sun. Imagination is thus both a refuge for dreams and an engine driving people to act, turning the impossible into the possible. When we learn to envision the life we desire with true belief and emotion, we are gradually drawing the map for the journey ahead. And then, through effort and persistence, those previews gradually become real in life, proving that all great achievements start from a moment of daring to imagine and believe in the beauty of what is yet to come. Not everyone is willing to support you, so learn to help yourself and confidently face challenges. In the reality of life, this world is vast and busy, like a rushing river, where everyone is steering their own boat, so not always is there a hand ready to reach out when we wobble amid the waves. Realizing that is not to become isolated or closed off, but to learn to stand firm on one's own feet, like a tree growing in a storm. Roots deep in the Mother Earth, not easily swayed even by strong winds. Helping oneself is a refined survival skill, starting from believing in one's own abilities, proactively finding a way when doors close, and patiently overcoming difficulties instead of waiting for miracles from others. Confidence in facing challenges is like a small flame ignited in the dark. Initially weak, but nurtured by experience and effort, it burns brighter, lighting the way forward. Each time we solve a problem ourselves, we not only overcome the situation, but also grow inwardly, accumulating quiet strength like layers of sediment forming a sturdy cliff. Being proactive and responsible encourages us not to leave life to chance or random kindness, but to become the architect of our own destiny. When we understand that the most valuable help sometimes comes from within, we learn to stay calm before upheavals, flexible before changes, and resilient before failures. And it is in the process of standing up ourselves after each fall that people find self-respect, courage, and deep faith that no matter how indifferent or harsh the world may be, we are still strong enough to continue, brave enough to smile, and free enough to live a solid, complete life. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Socrates, a spiritual compass, pointing people to the path of gentle but sustainable transformation. Change is not a noisy battle with the past, where we struggle in anger, regret, or resistance, but like sowing seeds on freshly plowed soil, where the old has fulfilled its mission, making way for new life to rise. When we spend too much energy resenting, denying, or trying to erase what has passed, the mind becomes heavy, like carrying invisible stones, making steps forward slow and tiring. Conversely, when we turn our gaze to the future and start building better habits, clearer goals, a more positive life, energy within us transforms into clear water, nurturing growth. Change, then, is no longer fear, but opportunity. Like spring arriving after a cold winter, no need to chase away the snow, just quietly bringing warmth for the ice to melt naturally. Wherever we place our mind, their life will bloom. Building the new requires patience, faith, and small daily actions, like bricks stacked to create a sturdy house instead of forever smashing old walls in anger. True progress comes not from opposing the past, but from proactively creating the future. When we learn to let go of futile resistance and pour all our heart into the good things ahead, we will find ourselves lighter, stronger, and full of hope. It is in that building process that people not only change circumstances, but also rebirth themselves, more mature, profound, and steady through each quiet but meaningful step. Work will fill your pockets, while adventures may fill your soul. The balance between material and spirit, two parallel flows nourishing human life. Work is like a steady stream flowing each day, bringing the necessary money to cover life, build a home, care for the future, and feel secure before essential needs. It is the solid foundation, like fertile soil for stable seeds to grow. However, if living only in the repetitive rhythm of work, the human soul easily withers like a field lacking rain, where joy becomes faded and emotions gradually harden. At that time, adventures, whether a far trip to strange lands, a challenge to oneself with something new, or simply an afternoon wandering to explore an unfamiliar street, become cool rains watering that spiritual soil. Adventures not only bring memories, but also expand horizons, enrich experiences, and awaken in us the feeling of living fully. Each journey is like a colorful page in a book, where we meet new people, learn different cultures, and understand ourselves deeper. Money can buy convenience, but cannot buy the emotion of standing before a vast sea, the exhilaration of conquering a difficult path, or the peace of watching sunset in a strange place. It is those moments that fill the invisible voids in the soul, creating depth for life. When work and adventure go hand in hand, people not only live to exist, but live to feel, to grow, and to be happier in a fuller way. Cherish labor to be materially stable, but don't forget to nourish the soul with trips, experiences, and dreams, for they make life rich, vibrant, and memorable. Gold prices change every day, so how can oneself not have the opportunity to change and progress more? Faith in one's own ability to rise. Gold, symbol of value, durability, and rarity, seems always stable, yet it fluctuates with each market movement, reflecting the ceaseless change of the world. If even something seen as solid as gold can change, then humans, living beings with thought, emotion, and will, have countless opportunities to learn, grow, and progress each day. No circumstance is forever. No version of oneself is fixed. Each passing day is a small fluctuation in the journey of life. We accumulate more knowledge, draw lessons from mistakes, stronger after setbacks, like quiet waves gradually building a sturdy shore. Our value can increase over time if we invest wisely. Invest in skills, mindset, and character. When we persistently learn, dare to challenge, and continually improve, that inner value will gradually rise, more sustainable than any external numbers. Hope and motivation. People should not box themselves in the past or limited present, but believe in their own ability to transform. For just as the market always moves, life always opens new opportunities, and as long as we never stop striving, each day can be a step forward. Small, but enough to lead us to a better, more confident, and more valuable version of ourselves. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Eleanor Roosevelt. Hope and the power to move forward. Dreams are like twinkling stars in the dark night, perhaps distant, but always bright enough to guide the traveler without getting lost. When we believe in the beauty of dreams, we not only see the destination, but also feel the meaning of each step on the journey, even if rugged or weary. That belief is like invisible wings, lifting people over fear, doubt, and seemingly impossible limits to dare think big, dare act, and dare persist in pursuing what we desire. The future, therefore, is not a random gift from time, but a garden cultivated from today, with sweat, effort, and steadfast faith. Each dream is a seed carrying the potential to bloom, and only those patient enough to care for it through sun and rain challenges, can see the radiant harvest day. The beauty of dreams lies not only in the final outcome, but in the process of our growth while pursuing it, learning to stand up after falls, learning to be strong before difficulties, and learning to cherish each small step forward. When people keep that faith in their hearts, life becomes more vibrant and has a clearer direction, like a boat with a compass in the vast ocean. Each of us nurtures dreams with optimism and practical action, for belief in that beauty will open doors of opportunity, creativity, and success. And then, in the ceaseless flow of time, those who dare to dream and dare to believe will be the ones writing their own future, with vibrant colors of hope, will, and aspiration to live fully. The road to happiness. Keep your heart free from hate, your mind from worry. Live simply, expect little, give much. Fill your life with love, forget self, think of others. Try this for a week, and you will be surprised. Norman Vincent Peale, The Purest Values of Happiness. Happiness here is not a luxurious destination or fleeting explosive emotion, but a state of peace nurtured from within, when the heart is no longer cramped by resentment and the mind not stretched by worries yet to happen. Hate is like hot coal we hold in our hand, only burning ourselves, while worry is like gray clouds obscuring the present sky. Letting them go is like opening the door for sunlight to flood into a dark room. A simple lifestyle and low expectations help people carry lighter burdens on life's journey, for when not loaded with desires, we easily find contentment in small but genuine things. A peaceful morning, a warm greeting, or a meal full of laughter. Giving much is like sowing seeds of love into the soil of life. The more we give, the more joy and deep connections we receive. Fill your life with love evokes the spread of kindness, like gentle light touching every corner of others' souls, warming both the giver and the receiver. When we temporarily forget the small self to think of others, the world suddenly opens wider and more meaningful. For happiness, then, is no longer confined to oneself, but flows as a cool stream, nourishing many hearts. The invitation to try this for a week is like a hopeful spiritual experiment, encouraging people to experience the power of kindness and letting go, to then be surprised by the lightness, peace, and simple joy it brings. The road to happiness appears not complicated or distant, but starts from small daily choices, choosing love instead of resentment, trust instead of worry, and sharing instead of holding tight for oneself. Forget the mistakes of the past. Forget the failures. Forget everything except what you're going to do now, and do it. William Durant, pulling people out of the long shadow of yesterday to step fully into the present moment. The past, whether sweet or bitter, is like closed book pages. If we keep flipping back and tormenting over each old line, we will miss the chance to write a new chapter of our life. Mistakes and failures are not chains binding the future, but quiet lessons forging resilience, like fire tempering steel into a stronger shape. However, when we cling to regret or fear in our heart, they become heavy stones, pulling back steps forward. Forget is not denying what happened, but letting go of the torment to keep the essence of the experience, like discarding the dry husk to keep the inner seed continuing to sprout. Focusing on what you're going to do now brings the mind back to the present, the only place we truly have power to act and change. The present is like fertile soil waiting to be planted, and each decision, each effort today is the seed for tomorrow. When we pour all energy into action instead of regret, life begins to move in a positive direction, like a river cleared after removing blocking logs. Proactivity and faith in starting over remind people that the future is not decided by old falls, but by how we stand up and continue. In the moment we choose to act with determination and hope, we not only overcome the past, but also write a new version of ourselves, stronger, more aware, and full of opportunities